Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to CyberSpeak Labs, Defenders and Lab Coats. I am super excited for the guest that we have today. I have creeped on him through LinkedIn for some time, so I am very glad that we finally have an opportunity to collaborate. So, hi, Kyser.
Hi to the lab.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today. And just to start us off with, tell us about yourself and your journey into cyber.
So my name is Kyser Clark. I currently work as a full-time penetration tester, also known as an ethical hacker. I started my journey in 2018 when I joined the United States Air Force. I joined as a client systems technician, which is kind of just a fancy word for system administrator, which also had some help desk in there, asset management in there, kind of like the full suite of IT. It was a little bit of everything with a lot of security baked into because they made us get our security plus before we even went to our first duty station, which is really what got me hooked into cybersecurity to begin with. Because I went in the Air Force thinking I was like, oh, I'm going to be an IT person. And they're like,
Right.
hey, before you can touch government assets, you need to get security plus. And I was like, oh, and then that's going to be hard. And everyone's like, it's going to be super hard. And like, I knocked it out of the park. I loved it. I was tutoring my fellow classmates and I just fell in love with the security plus exam. And that's really got me into cybersecurity. So from there, like I did my day job in the Air Force and I just kept getting more certifications, I got my degree in cybersecurity. And I really like pretty much the whole time, like while I was active duty in the Air Force doing my system administration work, I was kind of building up a career to like separate out of the military to come in as a penetration tester outside of the military. So that's how I got into my first pen testing role. And sometime like I would say like after 2 years or so of being in, they changed it from client systems technician to cyber defense operations. So because they're trying to make it more cyber risk in the Air Force.
Right.
So that's how I got in. And yeah, it was a great journey. And I loved every minute. I was in for a total of 6 years, and it was the best 6 years of my life.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thanks for the support.
No problem. Now, my one pounding question I have for you, you do a lot and you do so much for the community and your background is just fantastic. What is your one passion with cyber? I know you do a lot of talking with certifications and stuff like that, but what is your one passion that you absolutely love to talk about?
I love talking about like how to get into cybersecurity because before I
Yeah.
joined the Air Force, I worked a lot of dead end jobs. So I joined the Air Force at age 24. I was kind of the late bloomer, honestly. Most people join the military when they're 20, 21. Sometimes they join at 18, and I joined at 24. I was like the oldest person in my basic training flight. And the reason, I mean, I was, yeah, like I said, I worked a lot of dead end jobs, and I didn't even know like this is a career path for me. And I
Yeah.
played a lot of video games when I was a kid, and when I was a young adult, I played a lot of video games, and I built computers for fun. And I had a couple coworkers like, "Hey, just go to college for this stuff," and I'm like, "Well, I don't like high school. I hated high school. I was, this wasn't for me. I just couldn't sit in the classroom and just focus on the schoolwork
Yeah.
because it was interesting to me." And I would always just focus on video games, and I played sports in high school too, so I was a lot of my focus too. And I didn't know this was a career path, and I just wish someone would have just sat me down. I'm like, dude, you can work on computers for a living, and I wish someone would have told me that. So that's what I spent a lot of time doing. I'm like, dude, this is a viable career option. You can work in a job that you actually like. It doesn't have to be a dead end job.
Yeah. I was a Buffalo Wild Wings waitress before finding my way into tech. So,
My first job, I was washing dishes at a restaurant, and my second job, I worked in an oil refinery, and
oh,
I did
wow. That is a range.
asbestos removal, lead paint removal, and I did sandblasting and painting inside oil refineries to come up with. I did that for
Wow.
5 years. I did the dishwashing for like three.
I hate doing dishes. I'm sorry. I absolutely I'm one of those people that like I this might sound disgusting and whatever, but like I 1000% will let my dishes pile before I can't take it anymore because I hate touching dirty dishes.
I'm the same way, and I used to make a living off of washing
Do it
dishes.
for
I still
a
hate it. Like, so, yeah, Philly mutual.
All right, well, awesome. Now, for people that are trying to get into cybersecurity, You obviously did a fantastic job breaking into the industry. What's some advice that you could give to someone that's trying to get their foot into the door or maybe even study for certifications?
I would say just start, even if you don't have a crystal clear path. You're not
Yeah,
gonna have all the answers now because everybody's path is different, and everyone. If you talk to 100 cybersecurity professionals, they're gonna give you 100 different answers. So
absolutely.
really, you just need to start and then kind of find your own way, and you can take a piece from this person's journey and a piece from this person's journey, and there's really no wrong answers as long as you're just doing something and you're trying. You can always pivot, and as long as you're learning and studying, then the rest will come. So that's my main advice. Just get started, and there's really no, as long as you're working on learning
Yep.
something, there's really no mistakes you can make there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I don't know about you, and I kind of can relate a little bit to your journey. I was terrible at studying for things. Like even, just normal math tests. I could not study for these exams. I just could not sit still enough. And then heaven forbid if you ask me about like a specific like threat actor group now or something like top of my head, oh yeah, this and this and this and this. And, I often get asked the question, how do I study for my exams? And especially on the pen testing side, I feel like those exams are so daunting, especially with the OSCP and everything like that. So do you have any study tips for people trying to go into these certifications or even exams?
Yeah, I would say I wasn't a good studier either when I was in school. I didn't actually study anything in school. I just kind of won it in every test, and I didn't do any homework when I was in high school.
Oh my gosh.
And
Oh my god.
I only studied for like spelling tests just because there was this couple kids in my class that could spell really good, and I was like, I'm competitive. I was like, I'm not gonna let them beat me on that. So that was the only thing I studied for. And then like all the way through high school, like the spelling test kind of got weeded out. I just wung it, and I would get like a C or a B on the exam, and I wouldn't turn any homework, and I ended up graduating high school with a 2.0 GPA. So if you
You are
struggled in
the
high school,
definition of the kid, like, my parents' worst nightmare is, like, do not bring home the kid that doesn't, like, do his homework, you know?
yeah, that was me. I stayed up all night playing video games, and I would get off practice because I played football and basketball in high school and in elementary. From elementary all the way up to high school, I played
Yeah.
sports. So I would get off practice, and then I was like, why do I want to do schoolwork? I want to play video games, and I
Oh
would
my
just do that
gosh.
on repeat. And then yeah, after that, I would get off of school, and then I would go to work. I would go to practice, and I would get off practice, go to work, and then after
Yeah.
work, I would still find time to play video games. I would just go to school and sleep because I didn't sleep
That's
anything.
the only time you could sleep because you stayed up all night playing
But
video games. Like
so
Minecraft or Skyrim.
yeah, so that was kind of a long-winded answer there.
Yeah.
So the really what it comes down to is like I just want to make the point that like, I wasn't a very good studier in high school. I just didn't do it. But when it came to joining the Air Force, uh, there's this thing called the ASVAB. It's the Armed Forces Vocational Something Battery. It's a test that you got to take that qualifies you and disqualifies you from every job. And
Yeah.
if you enlist in the military, you have to do it. And I was like, well, I want to do good on that because if I don't get a high score, then I'm not going to get a job that I want. And I
Right.
wanted to work in cyber. Like I joined the military. Like I wasn't, when I decided I wanted to join the military, it was like I wanted to be in cyber and there was nothing else.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got to get a good ASVAB score. So I studied a lot for that. It was the first time I studied for a long time, and I had to reteach myself how to do algebra and all
Oh my
this science
gosh.
facts. And I'm learning like a lot of stuff that I should have learned in high school in this ASVAB. So it was
Yeah.
kind of like high school 2.0 for me, I guess.
You're
And
like, "I'm
and
craving 4 years and 1 night."
the way I looked at it was like I looked at it was like my life was on the line. It was like if I fail this, if I don't do good in this exam, then I'm gonna go back to the crap life that I had.
Yeah.
And I carry that mentality all the way up to my, I went to basic training, and I treated it the same way. Like they gave us, multiple tests, multiple exams during basic training. And I'm like, if I fail this, then it's like, then I'm not going to get what I want in life. And then Security Plus was my first cyber certification. And it's like the thing I kept telling myself, if I fail this, they're going to
Mhm.
reclass me. They're going to take me and they're going to put me in a job that I don't want. I have the job that I want. I've earned it. I just
Yeah.
have to pass this exam and I'm guaranteed to have this job. And that was the mentality I had. So, and then all my other certs, like especially the OSCP, I was like, I want to be a pen tester. If I get this
Yeah.
OSCP, it's really going to unlock a lot of doors. So I just went with that like live and die mentality. It's like if I don't pass this, then my life is over. I'm gonna go back to the crap life that I had before. So that's kind of how what motivated me.
Oh, I love hearing the drive. I feel like people that just are hungry, they just go for it. They're like, I'm just gonna do it, you know? And that's so inspiring. So now let me ask you this question. After you got your OSCP, then what? What happened after that chapter?
Oh man, it was a big relief because I was like, this is like a big deal, you know. And honestly, I was like, I'm in. I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
All I have to do is finish out my contract in the military, and I'm gonna be able to find a job, and it's gonna be smooth sailing from here. And I kind of had a period where I was like relaxing, and I felt like I wish I didn't relax as much. I guess I kind of like because the OSCP really isn't the pinnacle. There's other higher level
Yeah.
certifications, and I was like, well, I want to get these other certifications, but and OSCP is still my highest level certification, and there's a reason why. It's because I think I lost that live or die mentality a little bit now that I have a full time pen testing job, because I've quote unquote made it, and I'm like now I'm struggling to figure out like how do I get that winning mentality back into me. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm struggling with right now. Personally, I've actually failed a couple of exams. I tried to do like the OSWA. I failed it a few times, and I've failed the OS. No, not OS. The Practical Junior Web Tester. So these web app testing certifications are really tricky for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's after OSCP, like, I felt like I made it, and which I kind of did, but I kind of wish I didn't slow down. Like I wish I would have celebrated a little bit less, I guess, after I got that one.
Yeah. I have to ask you this. When you got the passing, sign, did you go anywhere to celebrate? Like McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, and you're just like, "I am gonna get 4 cheeseburgers. I did it," you know?
Yeah, so that's actually a really interesting story. So my
Oh,
OSCP
g
was
of course, there's a
scheduled.
story.
My OSCP schedule was on so I passed on May 17th, and it was actually originally scheduled on like May 20 something.
Right.
And the military was like, "Hey, you need to go to Japan because you have to be a witness in a trial, a military trial."
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, "Dude, I had an exam this day." And there's like no options. Like you have to go. You have no choice.
Yeah.
And at the time I was stationed in Alaska,
Okay.
and I'm like, "All right, well, I don't know what to do." I was like, "Hopefully there's a slot." And I was like, "I have two options here. I
Mhm.
could either push the exam back and
Yeah.
risk losing the knowledge,
You're
because
right.
when I'm traveling, I'm not gonna be studying because I'm gonna be
No.
traveling, or I can make it sooner and risk, have the knowledge fresh, but risk not completing as many labs as I wanted to." I was like, all right, we'll just do it sooner. So I pushed it sooner, which was a pretty big risk, and I ended up passing, obviously. And I'm not
Yeah.
even kidding. The day I took the exam and wrote my report, I submitted my report and flew to Japan the same day.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
submitted my report. I went and got lunch and I'm like, man, I actually really passed that thing. And on my flight, I was like, man, did I really actually pass? Like, I'm like,
You're like,
I
"This
read my,
feels so unreal right now."
yeah, well, I knew I had passed. I got enough points, and then I knew I wrote a decent report. But I was
Yeah.
like, but what if I didn't write a decent report? I guess the first report I've ever written, and I read my report like 4 or 5 times on
Yeah.
the flight. It's a long flight, and I read it so many times
Oh
over
my
and
god.
over, and I found mistakes. I was like, oh no, I put mistakes in my report. Like I didn't have like the table of contents. Like I'd have like section 4.3 twice. I'm like, why did I put that twice? It's
Oh my
clearly
gosh.
supposed to be 4.4. And that was stressing me out. I was like, I hope they don't fail me for that, even though I have enough points. And I just kept checking my email like every 20 minutes. I
Yeah.
woke up, and my time zone was at such a massive shift. So I remember waking up at 2 a.m. Japan time. I don't know what that translates to um
I think that's like 14 hours ahead from Central Time.
yeah.
Easily the next day.
I woke up at 2 a.m. in my hotel room, and I got the message, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I did it!" And the reason why I said it was a funny story is because my friend, he was in Japan.
Yeah.
We were stationed in Korea together, and we met back up in Japan, and we met up and we had too much to drink that night because we both had different things to celebrate. And yeah, it was a good night. And I wish I didn't drink that much, but it was a fun night.
Worth it, you know? I think that's like the best, like, I passed an exam and this is what I did to celebrate. I went to Japan, you know?
Yeah, and after I passed, it was really nice. Fun fact is, they actually didn't even pull me in a courtroom to be a witness. Like, they just had me sit in the hotel, and just in case they want to pull me in, they will call me, and they never called me in.
So
And
literally, you went to Japan and celebrated your OSCP and then went back home.
yeah, well, I wasn't allowed to leave the base. That was the thing. So I had to be able to put my uniform on and go
Yep.
into the courtroom on a very short notice. But after the day was over, then I could spend my entire afternoon and my nights like just exploring Japan. And I was at Okinawa, which is the island south of Japan. So I was it's all they say it's a lot different than actual Japan. So
Yeah.
or mainland Japan, I guess is the best way to put it. But yeah, it was a good experience because I would just go get sushi and just
I
I
was
was
about to
having a good
ask,
time.
did you get food? Did you get the local food, you know?
Yeah, I did, and I just went to the random sushi bar, and I don't
Yep.
even know what I'm doing. I've never been in Japan before, and I walk in, I just sit down, and I'm like, I don't even know. No, I don't know how to speak any Japanese. I just point at some sushi, and I'm like, here we go, and yeah, Japanese guy actually bought me a beer at the bar. That was pretty cool.
Aw!
He was very nice, and yeah, it was pretty cool experience.
Especially with the sushi. I'm like, man, sometimes I just wanna, like, I haven't been to, maybe I've been to, like, California, I've been to Florida, right? But I don't know, something about the Vegas food in the US just hits for me. I don't know why. It's hands down the best place for me to ever get food, and so when people are like, "Oh, cyber hacker camp," I'm like, "Food. I don't care about, like, education, I just want the food," you know?
Really, so I've never been to Vegas. I had a layover there one time.
Yeah.
And I don't think I ate it at any of the airports there, but I was,
Oh my
um,
goodness.
I never actually. I don't really count me visiting the place if I just have a layover there. So I'd
Yeah,
never
no.
been there.
I mean, to be fair, I still go to Starbucks and I buy, like, the "I've been here" series mugs just to add to my collection, but no, I didn't explore the city. Well, that's awesome, that's awesome to hear. Now my next question for you, you know, we kinda talk about a little bit of your journey, you know, the OSCP. What's your advice for someone that's probably job hunting, for being a pen tester, right? What's the interview experience like, or what's some ways that they can probably prepare for these interviews?
I would say the number one thing you have to understand is that you're gonna get a lot of rejections,
Yes.
and this might be a little bit of a hot take, but I would say the majority of job postings are ghost jobs. For people who don't know what ghost jobs is, they're just fake job postings.
Yep.
Companies post job postings to They post job postings to make it look like they're growing, and some companies even post job postings to intimidate their existing employees to like
Yep.
tell them they're replaceable. It's really bad. But and then some I think are threat actors too. I think some job postings are actual threat actors trying to get people's data and information. So understand that
1000%.
a
Yeah.
lot of job postings are just fake. And
Yeah.
then the ones that aren't fake and that actually do decline you, I would say a lot of it has to do with not your qualifications. It has more to do with a culture fit.
Mm.
And I realize that because of my current company, like, I'm in my internal pen testing meeting and, they're talking about interviewing candidates and they were talking to the senior pen testers like, hey, what do you think about this guy? And they're like, yeah, he's great. He's got everything we want, all the skills, all the knowledge we
Yep.
want, but he's not a culture fit. Like, he just didn't fit the culture. And
Yeah.
they didn't hire him because of that. And it's like, what can you do? People hire the people they want to work with, and
Yeah.
even if you have all the skills, like if you don't have the personality that matches that uh, company, then they're not going to hire you. So you have to match your values and the culture. So don't take it personally if you get rejected. And I did because I got rejected, and it fired me up. So it just made me just like study harder and just go in to interviews more prepared, I guess. And eventually you'll get it. You just you can't give up, and it's okay to be a little upset, but you can't let it get to you to the point to where you give up, and
Yeah.
that's the main thing.
I feel like that's the theme, especially, like, I would say post-COVID, right? The market just flooded and now all of a sudden it's dropping and you see layoffs and people are always looking for jobs and it like just looking on LinkedIn, I would feel discouraged being on the opposite side because it's just hard. It's absolutely hard, but in my opinion, get out there, get network, right? And that's the coolest thing. You meet a lot of cool people out there too. People who go to Japan to celebrate their OSCP. So
yeah,
now,
that was
oh, go ahead.
that was a good experience. And then another thing with doing your interviews,
Yeah.
so I have gotten several job offers, and I actually got one withdrawn because I accepted a job offer, and they came back and like, hey, the project's canceled, so because of that, we're withdrawing your offer. And so in total, as I was separating out of the military, I had 3 job offers and only could
Yeah.
accept one. But all the ones that I got, like, I wasn't perfect in the interview, right? Like I
Right.
would, I would nail the easy questions, but then they would ramp up the difficulty in the questions, and I'm like, man, I don't know that. Man. I don't know that. I'm like,
Yeah.
and they would kind of like help me out and kind of give me a spark, and then,
Mhm.
but I would just give them everything that I knew about that topic, but because they're trying to just gauge like what you know, and
Right.
it's okay to not know everything in an interview. So definitely, it's kind of cliche to say this, but don't lie in an interview. But don't feel bad about not knowing all the answers because I think they purposely give you something that you can't answer just to see where you're at.
Yes. Like that one random where like that person on the team that speaks a completely different language would know, but like, the rest of society definitely doesn't. Yeah, absolutely. We all work with that one person. Now, I know we're kind of like getting close on time, so I definitely want to highlight this. Would you mind kind of just telling us about your platform that you have? You're so active on LinkedIn and everything else, and I know you have your own podcast as well. So I definitely want to hear a little bit more about it so we can link it in the description below. But yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you shouting me out. So I have my own podcast. It's called The Hacker's Cache. It's red team centric. So pen testers, bug bounty hunters, red teamers. I grab professionals in the field and I interview them and I walk through their journeys, kind of similar to what we're doing in this episode here, and walk through their journeys and just kind of figure out how to like level up your pen testing skills, and just anything career oriented is really what I focus on. It's not really all that technical. I purposely do that because I don't think a podcast is really the place for a technical thing.
No.
And for my technical stuff, I do live streams. I do Hack the Box all the time, and I've been doing the Portsmouth Web Security Academy, and I just go in there and I struggle, and I just teach people like how I hack, and I just show
Yep.
people like I get stuck and I get frustrated. Like there's been streams where I'm just like, dude, I hate this. Why don't I know this? Like, because I get mad when I don't know something, and
You're like, this is as real as it gets.
yeah, so that's why I make that content, to show people. I'm like, you're gonna get frustrated, you're gonna hit roadblocks,
Oh
and that's
yeah.
part of the journey, and it gets frustrating for everybody, I think. And then I also make other YouTube videos, like help people grow in their career, and I make technical videos on YouTube too.
Yeah, I definitely watched a couple of your Hack the Box ones, and I'm like, this kid is so relatable. I was like, oh my gosh, like he is experiencing my everyday in this field on live.
Yeah,
I was like, this is so raw. I enjoy it.
yeah. I just figured you just put the unfiltered, because I started out putting the filtered stuff on there. I would solve the Hack the Box, and then I would like record myself after I already knew how to solve it. But I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not the real thing. Like, I want to show people the struggle, because you're gonna struggle, and it's not all straightforward like you think.
Oh yeah. I'm waiting for Hack the Box to start giving you like free t-shirts and stickers and sponsorship. So at Hack the Box, this. But no, that's amazing as well. I absolutely was inspired because I'm like, I don't think I could even do like a TryHackMe lab live because there's some things that I'm sure are very easy to some people, but to me, it's just like, I don't know,
Yeah,
But
I think that's
but hey,
part of the embarrassment for me. It's like, I was like, man, I think like almost everybody knows this, but I don't know this. Why don't I know this? And I'm like, who let me down? Like, what training that I did like didn't tell me this before? They didn't teach you this in the OSCP. Why?
I didn't do this in Japan. That's awesome though. So, as we kind of wrap up the show, I always like to end with two questions. The first one that I'm going to ask you, what is the best way that people can follow you or even reach out if they have questions about Hack the Box, Japan, or, just day-to-day questions regarding the field?
The top two places is my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm at Kyser Clark. I think it's just /Kyser Clark. And then my website, kyserclark.com.
Yes. Yeah, and it's definitely a very, very great website. I'm not gonna lie, and this is me being vulnerable with you. I 1000% stole some UI features that you had for my website. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm taking this back with me. So
I'm
thanks
glad
for having a great website.
thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Yeah, I don't mind taking some UI. I'm glad I can inspire you.
I'll add like a genuine things in my footer on my website or something one day in like 2-point font. It'll be an Easter egg for anyone. So, and then my one very, very last question. What advice do you have for our listeners? And this can be from your journey, this can be maybe something you heard today, or hey, don't eat raw meat at a random gas station, like this could be anything.
I would say you're gonna hit roadblocks, and like I said, I'm struggling like trying to go to the next level right now.
Right.
Personally, like I'm trying to go from my goal is to go from a pen tester to a senior pen tester. That's what I'm
Yes.
working on right now, and I feel like it's hard to get to the next level, and you're gonna hit roadblocks. And like I said, I failed OSWA 3 times now, and I'm not. I haven't failed a lot of exams, so I'm going
Yeah.
through this period where I'm just like, man, like what am I doing wrong now? Like I
Yeah.
was doing so good and I was winning left and right. And then now I'm just like, I can't get over this other hump. And so if you experience that, then I feel like that's also part of the process and part of the journey. And it's gonna upset you and it's gonna get to you, but um, it doesn't beat you unless you quit. So that's the main thing, just don't quit.
Yeah, and I also think like like especially for people that are just go 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 with everything in life, like I feel like sometimes you have to fail just to humble yourself every once in a while because then you're like, okay, let's go back to square one with how I told people what they should be doing and now I'm turning into a hypocrite with my own platform. But no, I think it's such a humbling experience because at least for me, I had taken a SANS certification, and it was their oh man, I forgot. It was Sec 530 was the name of the SANS course, and they had just rolled it out first time ever. And I went through tabbing like all of the books, highlighting, making my own glossary and everything. And I was ready for this, and I walked in. I was 2 questions off from passing. You know how frustrating that was, and I was like, "Ah, do I pay that extra grand to like retake this?" But I didn't at all. But to me, and you might be able to relate to this as well, but like when I came back home, I was like, what made me excited to want to take this? Like what made me excited to study? What can I do to teach back to others from like my roadblocks and my efforts because hopefully that can prepare someone else. And sure enough, knock on wood, 3 months down the road, I had someone reach out to me. They're like, "Hey, I'm gonna be taking this exam. I see you taking this class. What's your guidance on this?" And I was like, definitely take your time and read those questions 3,000 times. I was like, definitely go back. And of course, like, I provided some like of my own study tips and everything, but it's cool because that person took with it, ran with it, made it their own, and they passed the exam. And that's just I think the coolest thing ever is being able to teach back from, your mistakes and roadblocks yourself. So yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah, just to add to that, so I
Yeah.
failed the CCNA exam, my first attempt, by 1.5 questions, and I
Oh
was
my
so
gosh.
angry. I was so angry, and because I'm a competitive person, I hate losing more than I like winning. Like I can
Yeah.
like I would say the majority of the time when I go into a certification and pass it, I don't really get excited. I'm just like, "Yep, I studied for it. That's exactly what I expected." But then when I
Yep.
lose, I'm like, "This is a shocker to me." So, because I hate losing. But in those moments, those is actually when you learn more. Even though I had to pay I think $300 more to take the CCNA exam,
Yep.
I learned way more about networking and routing and switching than I would have passed that first time. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it was $300 less out of my bank account, but at the end of the day, like I learned networking way more because I went through all the course material again because I didn't really know what I was missing, and it all clicked together after it failed. So that's oftentimes I heard someone. So I follow a lot of network engineers on LinkedIn, and someone said the best network engineers failed their CCNA the first time, and I'm like, dude, that makes a lot of sense. And even though I didn't pass the I didn't fail the OSCP my first time. I passed my first time. I was like, man, I bet you the best pen testers fail their OSCP the first time too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, maybe I would have been a better pen tester if I would have failed the first time. So
could have gone to Japan twice, you know. I will forever, like, next time, like, you and I like connect or whatever, I'm just gonna be like, oh, how was Japan? Oh, you didn't go? Oh, sorry. So, well, hey, I really do appreciate you taking the time, coming onto the platform, speaking to our lab as well. So thank you very much. And for those that are listening on this platform, I really encourage you to like, subscribe, and share the podcast, right? Because that's how we grow in cybersecurity, is by learning from one another and collaborating as well. So thank you guys. And thank you, Kyser. And you guys have a great day. See ya.
See you, everyone.